All right.
I think we got it. I think we got it under control, man. Technology, I swear, it's supposed to make it easy for us. It's a little hard.
Allison, why don't you introduce our guest for the night?
All right. Joining us on tonight's episode of Coach is Coach George James. James coaches basketball in Virginia Beach. He's worked as the assistant coach with the Cox High School boys basketball team and is currently the girls varsity head coach at Green Run High School. James is the founder and director of the youth sports organization YKS Bulldogs and coaches one of the top-ranked fifth-grade girls teams in the state of Virginia. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. Thank y'all for having me.
Good.
Definitely, it was a pleasure having you tonight. We also have us tonight, Coach Corey. Definitely a pleasure always having them out here.
Always.
Just to reiterate, Coach is a show about perspective, from the coach's perspective. Topics are topics, anywhere from sporting to things that directly relate to the athlete. And this is an opportunity to get that perspective. I always make sure I prefaces that as much as possible so that everyone understands that it's about perspective. It's not about who's right or wrong, who feels like this should be done this way. It's about trying to understand why this person's saying it that way. So making your perspective clear is key,
Okay, well, let's get started. The coaches in this conversation have the somewhat unique experience of being versatile in your abilities and experiences as coaches, to have coached a really wide variety of players, giving you a lot of insight, multiple perspectives from coaches. So tonight we're going to get into some of those differences, challenges, and perspectives involved with coaching. With Coach James here, definitely one of the things on my mind, Coach Sam, Coach James, Coach C, what changes, if anything, in your approach when coaching boys versus girls?
Coach James, you kick that off, please. You got.
One thing that I think is definitely different from my point of view is I think just the teaching aspect. Because with the young ladies, you get a chance to alliterate what you're really trying to teach. You can explain something to the girls, and they'll pretty much go out and do it step by step. As far as the boys, for the most part, a lot of boys get their athleticism so early, in their age and jump. Even some of your worst boys can still, move a little bit. So their athleticism takes over a lot for them at a young age too. I think a lot of them, when you try to teach them something simple, because they have athleticism, even the less skilled players, even they have athleticism, sometimes the athleticism takes it away. So it's hard for them to actually do what is the simple thing that's being taught, because a lot of them have athleticism. Whereas as the girls are developing, with learning how to use whatever it is they're trying to do or be taught, they actually take the time to hear what you're saying, because they need to know the proper steps to do what they need to do to make the move work. And I think certain girls just take that part and expand it, where you have more variety and a more number of boys who just got that athleticism, and it can take over to them. And at the same time, from coaching boys who have athleticism, sometimes you just got to let your athlete go. You know what I mean? You got to realize you got an athlete, and that kid is fast. That kid can jump, and sometimes that's a skill. You know what I mean? So that's part of the coaching of the player that you got, just seeing how to use their athleticism and with being able to teach them. But I think the girl game, it gives you a better chance to really work on teaching it, and they give you a chance to really teach some stuff.
my opinion, the biggest difference has been just the trust factor. You know, there's one way you can go about dealing with a young man that you can't deal with a young woman. And sometimes you build trust because of how you can say things or move about. And to me, like that the part of coaching young women is more mental. For a man to coach a young woman is a real mental coach. You know, you really got to be really aware, you know, a lot more than just, you know, with young men, I think young ladies catch on to things and they feel things a lot quicker than young boys do, or young boys will admit to. And I think coaching them is one of the things you mentally got to be one of those people who can be patient and actually try to understand what this young person's trying to get across to you. Whereas I think with boys, you sometimes feel like you have a kinship with them. You sometimes feel like you have an already like a understanding of what they might be thinking. And sometimes the boy that you're coaching might think that you already get them. So it's sometimes a mutual situation, whereas with young ladies, it's definitely it takes a skilled, crafted coach to really even to take on that and be successful. That's huge on its own, because it ain't easy. You know, it's
Definitely.
you can't just you can take and not to call anybody anything, but you could take some stud athletes, and they can all be women, put them on a team. But you take some girls that's learning this the right way, and you put them like they need to be. It's different, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Definitely. You know, I think that's important to understand when you're teaching and coaching the game that can be played by both male and female.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it from another perspective. I really feel like with the growth cycle of girls, their maturity level to learn sports is way more mature than boys. You know, boys, we mature at a slower rate than girls do. So even dealing with Coach G, the girls were a lot more developed physically than the boys.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So for boys, with my experience with girls and boys, with the boys, it really takes them till they become teenagers to understand their athleticism, understand how to use it, and understand the game. Whereas girls are more cerebral, and they kind of understand things a little bit better. They catch on to things a lot faster, and I really think that's due to the maturity cycle. You know, it really helps in development of their game. So that's why if you watch a WNBA game and an NBA game, the WNBA, the girls are very fundamentally sound. I think a lot of people look at the boys because, like Coach said, they're so athletic. They can jump high, they can run faster, but a lot of them, their skills are not as polished as some girls. You know, seriously, like it's not as polished. And like I said, I think that goes into the maturity cycle of growth for male and female.
But Corey, you know, I thought about that too. I'm a big advocate. I believe women are 50-50, honestly. I believe that they're what we think they lack, they don't. We just think that, and that's the trick. I think that a lot of it's the role model. I think a lot of the parents that set a certain type of win for the women or in that avenue, just like boys, they are going to be the athletes. I think a lot of role models aren't necessarily athletic women. I think they're more of a different nature, and that's the role model you kind of beget. I don't know if it's that boys don't mature as fast. I think that women get a role model that is that mature, strong woman. And that's that role model they get. A lot of these young boys get this role model of some of these, you know what I mean? You got so many different, and they take on so many, they trying to find themselves. A lot of these young women ain't got to find themselves. A lot of these women is all kind of on board on the same thing, whereas these men is kind of staggered. I don't know if it's the maturity as much as these role models giving these young women the proper steps off top. And us boys is just, we just got too many bad misdirections. You know, we firing off the wrong way consistently. You know.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I just feel like with coaching, the biggest thing that you want from your athletes, number one, is attention. You know, and I really feel like, you know, because we don't like to single out genders, but, you know, we do it. I just feel like girls understand attention to detail and attention to instructions at a certain age more than boys do. I feel like that. Me being a male myself, you know, I've been around, and all of us have. We've been in classrooms with females and on the sports platform with females too. Like, they're
No,
like Coach said,
that's real tough.
yeah,
Like one thing with coaching, even at the school level, you know what I mean, at coaching girls and coaching boys, you know what I mean? The girls team's GPA was always
yeah,
ease. You never really that was like one of the least of your worries. You know what I mean? You see a girl whose grades aren't up par, especially an athlete. You know what I mean? It was kind of odd because most girls usually, you know what I mean, can take care of the books at ease. One thing I do want to add too, just to piggyback up as far as like even with coaching, like you were saying, it gets to a certain point, especially with the male and female. You know, as boys, like a lot of us just was playing sport because that's what boys do. You know what I'm
right,
saying? All my boys are playing, my friends are playing, so I'm going out to the play. What I'm saying, what we gonna do for the most part as far as like boys? Everybody going to the court, we hoop. Everybody playing football, we playing football. Like this what all the boys is doing. You know what I mean? Even the cool guys was coming to the court in their jeans and still hooping. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it gets to a point where I think with the girl, when they get to a certain age, if they're still participating in this sport, you know what I mean, they have a certain level of commitment that they're giving to it, you know, to participate. And that's one thing I learned about just even with coaching the girls, as they get older, once they get to like that middle school and that high school age, if they're still committed to putting in the work, if they're still committed to getting better at the sport, then, you know what I mean, that's a big deal because there's a lot of boys who playing just because. And because they got athleticism is working for them. You know what I'm saying?
Athleticism plays a big role in it.
You feel me?
Big role.
Right.
And so, like, when you see a girl, especially at that age when girls are like, do I keep playing sport or do I, you know what I'm saying, hang out with my homegirls? You know what I'm saying? Do I, you know what I'm saying? Just when they start, you know what I mean, just start hanging out. Like, am I still going to play ball or am I still going to play tennis? Am I still going to do softball? Am I going to still do volleyball, field hockey, soccer? Whatever their sport is, it gets to a point where they be like, I'm either going to keep doing this or I'm not. And you know what I mean? It's not because all the girls are doing it. Nah, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole nother world out there if I don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying? And you find a girl at that age of 13, 14, 15 or whatever that's continuing to put in the work, that's showing some commitment, you know, that's a big deal.
Wanting to play at a certain age or a certain level, it shows a different type of commitment. But there's an underlying irony in that when we think about the long term, about the careers that lay ahead of these athletes. So with all that being said, I hear a lot of positive things being said about female athletes and female basketball players. Can we truly equal the playing field in professional sports between these men and women? Should women play in men's sports? Is it fair? How is all this? How do we feel about all this as we look towards the future for our athletes?
I think, if y'all don't mind me answer, I think that us as a society, we have to respect the beauty of difference. You know, like, okay, the males, we jump higher. In some instances, we're faster depending on what it is. There's a difference, you know, and there's nothing wrong with the difference. But the thing is, we also have to appreciate the difference in both. Like, I feel like female athletes, professional, I feel like they're underpaid. I feel like they should be definitely paid more money because they're playing at a high level, you know? Of course, they can't dunk, a lot of them. I mean, let's be honest, though. More girls are starting to dunk the basketball. Way more than we've ever seen, you know? But I think we have to appreciate the beauty of difference and no equal as far as girls merging with the boys in sports. I think it's hard. It's some girls that can hang with the boys, but it's, you know, it's not as many as we would like to equal it out. But at the same time, to me, and this is my perspective because we're talking about perspective, I don't see anything wrong with that. I feel like, I don't feel like us boys to jump into a girl sport and try to compete with some girls, you know what I'm saying? Because there's girls who are just at the top of their class gender-wise, at the top, So how do they get recognized, or if we equal it out, they fall down, I feel like we should really respect the beauty and difference of gender. That's how I just feel that way.
I feel you on that, Coach. I would have to agree. Like, I like what you said about just enjoy the different. Like, it's just different. I mean, it's basketball, but as far as basketball goes, I mean, it's just different. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying the difference of the game that comes with it. Like, it's girls shouldn't have to play with the boys, and the boys shouldn't have to play with the girls. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
As far as the game goes, when you're talking about organization, you know what I mean? If you're at the park and you want to come hoop, I mean, I know a lot of girls who can go to the park and get busy. You know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about organized, you know what I mean? When you're talking about, taking it to another level as far as professionalism and getting paid and all that, I mean, that's business. You know what I mean? That's part of the business. They just have to be able to, as far as the salary that comes with the WNBA, I mean, that just comes with business. They got to be able to generate it. You know what I mean? If they can bring in the same revenue that the NBA is bringing, you know what I mean, or the G League, they don't got to get on the same level as the NBA, so to speak, but they got to be able to just fill those stands at a higher rate. But I think the female game is growing tremendously, and I think that it's becoming even more entertaining. Like, I mean, you look at the college girls game; them games are exciting.
They nice.
You know what I'm saying?
They're
like
nice.
These chicks out there hooping. You know what I mean? You can pull up. You know what I'm saying? They hit game winners. Like, you on your feet. You watching the game. It's a lot more. There's a lot more chicks who can hoop. You know what I mean? There are a lot of girl. Like, before, it was you might have had your one girl. You know what I mean? Then all the girls were going to UConn. You know what I'm saying? Now it's girls that are nice all over the country. So I think even when you narrow that down to high school and middle school, there are a lot more girls who have picked up the game. And it's not just one or two girls who can play. And I mean, if the top 2 or 3 girls can go somewhere else, but those other 9, 10, 11, they can play. So I think as the game continues to grow, I think as the game continues to get excitement, as the game continues to market. I mean, Diana Taurasi, she's just jumped on board to really be an advocate with WNBA and focus on bringing the attention that the WNBA game needs. But I think it's just gonna grow. I think there's a lot of exciting players. I think as they continue to market themselves, then as far as the WNBA goes, as far as getting paid, that'll meet its course. But at the same time, it's still women. Like, shoot, I remember Candace Parker was in the league. Shoot, she had to take like a year off because she about to have a baby. She still, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So she was out of the league and she was the top player. You know what I'm saying? She was like Jordan left for a league year, came back. You know what I'm saying? After she was straight. So I mean, they still women, so they still gonna be women. They just can play ball.
But,
you know what I'm saying?
Hey, Coach, don't you feel like, though, as a society, we've lost so much time and respect to appreciate women? That's why they're behind. Because you got to think, male sports have been marketed at a more higher level than female sports for years. We talking about years. We're not talking about 5, 2. Yeah, the times is like, so it's like the times have cursed that. That's what I believe. I believe that us losing, because women were looked at differently before us, women were.
Like you said, and because of social media, that helps a lot of the girls.
It's gonna help you.
I mean, you think, imagine if the WNBA was around and we had footage like that on Cheryl Miller. Reggie Miller, she was. Come on, man.
She was a beast.
Like, she could have went to the NBA.
She did play for Reggie. Anyway.
But would she be an NBA All-Star? I have to disagree. Because it's like some of our male All-Stars, man, No, some of our male all-stars are on another level of athleticism. And I think Coach hit that earlier, like us males, like we're just blessed with real big athleticism. Like,
It's just
I mean, I would love to see some of our girls with a 45-inch vertical. That'd be amazing. But it's like,
like you just take a player like Patrick Beverly, for example. Like, you know, he's not flying and dunking all over the place, but you know what I mean? Compared to the top level player in the WNBA, he just physically is just
overpowering.
out of control.
Overpowering.
You know what I'm saying? And she can, and Maya Moore might be better than him.
Maya Maya Moore is better than him. Sick of him.
You know what I'm saying? So
he's one of my favorite players.
How do you feel about the idea? See, this is a reality because I mean, I agree with both of y'all, hands down. And like you said, it's beauty and difference. I like that. That's real. But so, how do you feel about the situations? And there's a lot of broad ones as far as identifying, and then there's circumstances where participants have functioned and participated in state legal, legitimate tournaments or school conferences, whether it be wrestling or baseball, some sorts like that, where people identify as a certain type. And what I mean by type is, I'll leave it out there. Whatever you feel is what you feel. I'm not going to judge it. But
right,
as the world we live in now, if you have a player that identifies a certain way, rules are now different for them. I mean, is that something that we feel is like, how do you prepare your people of the new world for the world order as it is now?
I think we don't. I think that this is my thing. And
let me ask you this now, since just to make sure we on target now. Are we saying we don't do something that we already doing? Or are we saying we shouldn't do?
We shouldn't. Okay. I think that you know, everybody's so sensitive. Like I said, like I use my words wisely with gender. We have to recognize the beauty of difference. If you're born a certain way, you're gonna have certain advantages. Let's be real. You know, if you're born a male and you compete as a female, that's gonna give you an advantage. I mean, let's be honest. Now, I understand some people wake up and they feel different. You know, that's cool. That's fine. But we still have to recognize who people are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just imagine how many people could wake up one day and say, "Hey, I feel like I'm this today." Like, what are we doing? You know, like, so now you're one way, you want to wake up and you want to go into another category. Well, that changes the game in a lot of ways for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So that's like gonna smother people who are really who they are and they're working their way up. And somebody who comes in gets a super advantage because of them waking up saying, I'm not this person today, I'm this person. So I totally disagree. I think that we shouldn't be doing that. I just think that one, it's kind of, then we should just do away with the word gender. We should just let it go, you know?
I think they kind of are.
Huh?
I think they kind of are.
But I think that that's unfair. You know, I think that, and like I said, this is our perspective. This is about. I think that we shouldn't do away with gender. It's beauty in being a female, and just like it's beauty in being a male. Like I said, we have to, as a society, respect those differences, and you know what I'm saying, respect the beauty of who we are. Okay, you want to wake up and be somebody different, that's fine, but you still are. You're born the way you're born. You can't change that. I know we got these $1 million surgeries, you know, that's helping a lot of things, but I just feel like the way you were born is the way you were born, you know, and I don't think that everybody else should have to pay any type of price for you wanting to change who, you know, not bringing too much religion in, who God made you to be in the first place, you know?
I mean, you definitely get I think, Coach, I think you definitely hit it on the nose with the title of it, perspective. You know, you definitely gave your perspective on them, and I think everybody, you know, has to respect everyone's perspective. It's definitely a touchy subject, like you said, and something that we dealing with and going through. But as far as coaching goes and dealing with the youth, you know what I mean? That's where the position that we're in for the most part. I think something like that comes down to a parental's choice as well. I mean, I think you'll have your as you're talking sports, you know what I mean? You're still going to have a league that's going to be full of people who consider themselves to be male or boy. And then they'll have a league that with people who consider themselves to be female and girl. And for those who are caught in those situations where they are transitioning or feeling like something, the parent has to make a decision on where they want to put their child. You know, now that decision from there, I think that decision from there goes into, you know, the next step, finding a somewhere that is right for their child, finding somewhere that, you know, because I mean, if this thing continues to grow, then I mean, their child won't be denied for the most part, but you can't tell someone how to react. You can't tell someone how to treat them. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell someone
I wanted
how
to
they
ask you something, Coach, before
yeah,
you
I'm
go
listening.
far, because it's interesting. And like I said, 'cause a lot of this is to help, truthfully. And the question that I would ask you as a coach, let's say, hypothetically, right, you have to, you're going to coach an event, or I'm a coach an event, or Allison, or someone's going to coach an event, and you have to, your player's about to go against another team. And they're about to go against that team, and now they see the team, and they're like, hold on, unexpectedly, I'm going against you, you, and you. What advice do you give that coach to tell their team to get them ready for that game?
Well, I mean, when you say unexpectedly, what do
Well,
you
let's
mean?
say,
Like,
let me clarify that. Let's say you play in a rec league of some sort, and you can play co-ed. Let's say it's co-ed. And now you got a team, and they go against the biggest thing in the world, and he happens to be the opposite sex. What do you, how do you begin that conversation of, all right, players, game time, listen up. You get what I mean? Like, how do you, to give the
um,
tip to the coach out there who might enter that scenario?
I mean, that's a deep one, coach. You know, that's because
Here's
I
a
think
deep
I
question.
It's
think
real
by
though.
time by the time that, you know, we enter that stage of things where there's no stopping it from happening, you know, as far as like, even depending on the level that we coach with, rather if it's like the AAU level and you enter into these tournaments, I think these tournaments are going to start putting these type of things into their rules and regulations. They're going to let you know. So there's nothing you can really do as far as it being unexpected. And I think if you just happen to get a team on your schedule and you know that this is a team that has someone in a situation that's going to be playing, you know, with that being said, I mean, I think it's going to come with so many, you know what I mean, so many little rules, you know what I mean, in a sense where, you know what I'm saying, it's I think a child in a sense is going to have to really go through a lot to participate in something of that stature. That's a little deeper than just going to
I
the rest.
agree. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of the rules and things like that, for a young woman, a young lady who might have her eyes set on college basketball or the WNBA, who is playing co-ed, is there an impact on the things that are different? The ball size, the shot clock, the 20-minute
Absolutely.
halves versus 12-minute quarters. Is there an impact on those girls prepping with the male rules, but having an end goal of playing with the women?
It is a different.
Yeah, go ahead, coach. Happened to that.
So that was a good question, Allison, because you got to think the NBA game is really fast. What's the average? You know, it's way faster than it used to be. I think what they get a shot up in, it's 24 seconds on the shot clock. I think the shot is going up, every 10 seconds, coach? Something like that. I think they're clocking it. Yeah, like they're letting it ride.
Yeah, it's going up fast. The game is fast.
Yeah, the pace, the male pace in pro basketball is insane. So that's a big factor in gameplay, most definitely. Because I watched some WNBA games, not as fast, but the girls are they have a little bit more endurance. If I say that, like they pretty much, girls are good with the long haul of the game. I think that plays a big role, man. I just think this is a real tough subject. Y'all put us on a hot seat with this. Y'all put us on a hot seat with this one.
It's reality. It's what we all got to encounter. And like I said before, a lot of it's just you got coaches, and I'm one of the people like to speak frankly. I'm like, if I don't know something, I try to find it, figure it out, or try to ask, and that's just truly what it is. I ain't got too much room to play when you don't have to. And there's a lot of people who won't ask questions, who won't seek where they can find the best advice. And it's like, come on, it's like what that's what we're supposed to do. And those are the realities that we deal with day to day, week to week. I mean, I know COVID-19 really slowed everybody down, but that used to be way of life daily, weekly. I know a lot of these players, that's what it was. I think we have an opportunity at this point, a lot of coaches sitting back. Coaches should be trying to become better coaches right now and trying to be. Just like our athletes should be grinding right now and killing themselves trying to become better athletes. They have the opportunity. Imagine Jordan with this opportunity. I don't get off subject. I'm just saying, imagine the opportunity is great right now. Like, I get it. It's bad too, but you got to make the best out of it. And that's what we're trying to do.
All about adjusting. You got to adjust.
Gotta adjust. But going back to what we were talking about with the adjustments and equality with gender, like we said, this is a show we were talking about perspective. Where do we draw the line with acceptance of things that are not normal to make sure things are easily accepted? If I said that right. If y'all understand what I'm saying. I love our females. I respect all our females. I respect our males. But I really think, we have to just respect, like I said before, like I've been saying the whole show, just respect difference, man. There's beauty in difference. And I think that's what's wrong with us as a society. We're just not accepting difference, and we want everything just to be right now the same. Like right now, let's make everybody happy. But we have to do that with caution, because even though we're making these decisions and we're trying to make things more acceptable and we're trying to make things more equal, well, how equal is it if we make some of these decisions, and not, X people out? Because like I said before, I would hate for us to make things equal and we never get to see a player like Maya Moore or Diana Taurasi,
right,
or Sue Bird. We never see those type of players if we don't, separate it. I just think that we have to just enjoy that, and we just have to make some adjustments. So, like I said, as a society, we're so stuck on certain things. We're trying to break certain things down, and it's taking time. It's taking a lot of time. But the more we all come together and change our mindset, I think a lot of things can be beautiful, and we can deal with difference. We can deal with it better and appreciate it. That's the big thing for me. Appreciate difference.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, shoot, just think about some of the girls at PA that's running through the league at PA. That don't mean we should all just put them on boys varsity.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah.
So and let them, like, and they got chicks that are nice. You know what I mean? Who probably could go out of varsity and get a couple buckets, but it ain't gonna be the same player. You know what I mean? It's just the game is it's just different, and that's you know what I mean. Learn just like as males, the males that dominated learn how to dominate the male foot sport. And so let as a female, let the girl learn how to dominate the female sport. I mean, it's just I mean, ain't nothing wrong with holding it down from a female's perspective. You know what I mean? And let whoever's the top male in the male sport come sit back and watch the top female in the female sport get busy. You know what I'm saying? And that's just that, you know. But I think, you know, it's and I mean, I think it's gonna keep it different. I think because, you know, women are, as much as everybody in the world is screaming equality, you know, women want their own. You know what I mean? Women want to, you know,
Why would they not? Why would they not want their own? You know?
Stand out how they stand out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then you got to think about it. Like, shoot, some of them, you know what I mean, as far as sports goes, that are both shared by male and female. You know what I mean? When you get to dominating, you know what I mean, you lose the barrier of top female athlete. Like, look at Serena. We don't look at her top female tennis player. She's just the best tennis player out there. You know what I mean?
Even in ladies basketball earlier this year, there was some forward movement for them when it comes to this salary discussion. You know, there was with what was supposed to be the Summer Olympics, they worked out a deal. And I think Sue Bird had said it was a matter of knowing our worth and knowing our value. And
I think that's another thing that you mentioned. They knowing their worth. I think they realizing that they're gaining their fan base and credibility. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's a lot of people who know, you know what I mean, as far as WNBA goes, athletes by name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you like the game, you know what's going on. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what's going on as far as that part goes. But I think it's growing, it's getting it, you know. Like I said, I mean, I just look at the college game. If you just look at that, the college game is exciting, man. You know what I mean? That it's exciting, and that's just going to continue to grow as far as on a professional level for the women that want to, you know what I mean, take it there. And I think there are a lot more women who want to play professional. You know what I mean? And they wanna get it there. And now you got the women who were in the league that been through it, like your Sue Birds, your Diana Taurasi's, who wanna see the game change because they see what the future looks like for all the young girls who are playing.
And they've worked it out this coming season, depending, you know, we don't know what it'll look like, of course, but where those contracts can be 3 times what the salaries they had before. And that was, I think, in February. But that, you know, they are recognizing their growth and their worth, and they're fighting for it. And I don't hear any professional level female athlete, basketball players saying they want it to be together. They're fighting for their lane to be what they think it should be.
WNBA, NBA. But I think the girls deserve, I feel like it's kind of disrespectful. I always felt like this in the first place. It's disrespectful to call somebody a pro athlete and not make them feel like they're ahead. And you got to think, WNBA sports, some of those girls are getting paid like as much as some people who work like regular jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to, like they're making their money off endorsements. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not showing appreciation.
That's why I said some of them was like, man, I don't need to try to go pro. I'm good. They was playing their college ball, get their degree, and then I'm good. Why do I need to go pro? For what? I'm gonna make more money with what I went to school for than going into the WNBA to play ball for like 7 months. I'm good.
Totally wrong. And I think that us as a society, we got that super wrong.
I think I said the game is growing. There are a lot more teams in cities that's growing. They're getting a lot of more basketball minds behind them. They're building. I mean, they on 2K now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? It's growing. It's growing. You just gotta give it some time. It's growing. It's going. It'll be there.
I was thinking I had dreams of that happening, and when they put it in the same disc, I was thinking they'd give them their own disc. You know what I mean?
It's coming. It's coming. They do
their own disc for free. Like they make they used to do double disc. I thought they were going to put like 2K and then 2K for women in the same disc together, but 2 discs. You know what I mean? But you know, that's what I did.
But y'all got to understand too, and what I keep saying, like I've had this conversation before with a lot of people. man, switching the mindsets of our society for acceptance is the hardest thing. You know what I'm saying? Because people don't know the power of media. You know what I'm saying? Seeing things like all of us watched The Last Dance. And you got to think, during Mike's era, when they came out with that Gatorade, I want to be like Mike, they talked about how everybody truly thought Mike was a god. He was untouchable. He was perfect. He was pure. Here it is. We in social media now. Now we're cracking the egg and we see who Mike truly is. Now everybody like, oh, Michael Jordan is a mean person. He didn't get Scottie Pippen his money. He's selfish. You see what I'm saying? We have to really do something to let everybody see the beauty.
And what Mike fault Scottie ain't get paid?
No, Scottie's fault. Scottie didn't take care of his business. That's a totally different topic. We need to talk about that too. But
we'll get there.
But I just with women because of how society look so down on women, we got to catch up and change the perspective, the look. You know what I'm saying? Don't look at women as so weak. You know, there's women have strengths and things that some of us males don't have strengths in, but we have to recognize it. So we all can like break that mindset of, yeah, I'm a male, I'm the guy. You know, there's nothing better than male. No, it's some women out here they tough, man. They kick your tail. You know, they will kick your tail, but it's not as publicized or put out there. And like Coach said, with social media now, we're starting to see it more because some of these girls, man, they play like guys. You know what I'm saying? And let's stop saying play like guys. They can hoop.
Yeah, they can just play.
They can just play. You know?
Like I said, I remember when I was coming up, it might have been like one or two girls in the neighborhood who was like that.
Mm-hmm.
One was good, and then the other girl was her friend, so she can kind of play too. You know what I'm saying? And it was always those one or two chicks who could hoop. You know what I mean? You will pick them up. You know what I mean? She can run. You know what I mean? She at the court because she can play. You know what I mean? Now you can go to the court and it can be girls running their own 5-on-5. Like,
yeah,
it's just hooping. I just think the game is just growing still, and a lot more girls are really into the game. It's not, and a lot more girls are training too. You know what I mean? Like a lot of boys were used to train. Girls in the gym getting working, in the gym getting working too. And then, like I said, from a certain age, you know what I mean, they can compete. But then it just gets to a level where you gotta separate, man. You just, you know what I'm saying, when that puberty starts to hit, that's real. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta separate. When boys start getting these chin straps and the girls start growing, you gotta separate it, bro.
Right. The chin strap makes the separation.